So, hi, welcome to Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with.
I'm Avery.
And I'm Alex, and we're Coastal Club.
I have some questions to say about their new EP, all of the things you said. So, congrats on that, by the way. How do you guys feel about the response to it so far?
Yeah, I think it's been great. I think we weren't really sure what to expect. We haven't released music since 2020, and so it's been a minute since we put anything out there, and it's been at this time like 4 days I think since we released it, and just it's been really awesome. Like, so many people have posted about it. Everyone that we talked to, people reaching out, friends that I haven't heard from in a minute are reaching out saying it's incredible, as well as just fans that are reaching out on social media and things like that, saying that they love it, which has been really cool. Seems like the response, every response that we've gotten has been really warm and welcoming to the project. So we love it.
That's awesome.
Fuck
Oh,
yeah.
The EP is so good.
It's incredible.
thank you.
Yeah, it's such a fucking vibe.
Of course.
Thank y'all so much. That's so kind.
Would like to dive a little bit into the break, because it was 4 years between the last release and this one. So could we touch a little bit on that? I'm sure the pandemic played a part of it. That was in the midst of it. But was there any other factors?
Yeah, I think we released our last project very shortly before lockdown. So
shortly after. It was like in June, I believe.
of
2020. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So
time's a construct.
Yeah, exactly. we had to do but we chose to do like a live streamed album release show. I mean, we did have to. We didn't have the choice to go play it, but we wanted to do something. So we did like a live stream thing just in a room. But other than that, there was only so much we could do as far as like getting it out into the world. So it just like after putting all that time and like excitement into like, okay, we're gearing up for the thing, like we're finally dropping this. We just couldn't. So it like I definitely feel like that just pulled the wind right out of our sails in terms of like just that momentum that we were feeling going forward. But we also like had no expectation for it to land as well as it did with people, because I mean, I think prior to that release we were very much just like a local minded band. Like we had done a couple short like so far tour things and like one-off things in different cities, but for the most part we were just playing shows in Cincinnati and around it. And so that happened, and then pandemic kicks in and we all had like job changes and life changes and moves and stuff like that, and so we would play like one or two shows a year for 2-3 years almost, and writing stuff the whole time, going into the studio as often as we could, working on what we just put out, because it was like, I mean, that's been in progress since then, essentially since
2021 I think.
Yeah. Damn. So like I think it was just a matter of like we fell out of sync, and then it was a few years of trying to find how to get back into that groove of getting things moving forward again, and we finally feel like we have.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
Yeah. And flashback to kind of like a week ago before it was even out, was there any kind of additional anxiety? Because obviously there's going to be anxiety with the release, but because there was such a big gap in between your last one to this one, were you guys freaking out a little bit?
Yeah, I think there's definitely, I think, a little bit of anxiety leading up to any release. And it has been a minute, like you said, since we've released music. So that's an added factor. I think also there's an added factor of this whole project. It definitely has some songs on it that are sort of upbeat and definitely still uplifting and sort of like very high energy. There's a few songs on the project that are like that, but which I feel like has kind of up until now definitely historically been a part of our sound, is just kind of like high energy, really positive music that makes you feel good and makes you just kind of want to drive with the windows down sort of a vibe. But up until this point, I mean, this project definitely still has that, but there's also some sort of like more somber, some sort of more introspective songs that have a little bit more weighty themes to them too. And so there's also that bit of anxiety too, of like the music itself is kind of a little bit of a shift in mentality and a little bit of a shift in the sonics. So just a little bit of anxiety over like, are people gonna hate this? I don't know. And I think that it seems like people really love it, which is cool. I think that, my favorite bands, Avery and I've talked about this a ton, my favorite bands kind of evolve with me as I, listen to other things and develop more of my taste. And so I think that hopefully we're doing that alongside of fans and listeners. Additionally to like, I don't think we're at all entirely outside of like making those high energy songs. I think that those will continue to come alongside some of the stuff that we've this project as well. So I don't think we're outside of that world entirely, but there's definitely a little bit of anxiety leading up to the release because of that added factor as well. And the time, like you said, it was definitely a factor. It's been a minute. But I think all of us in the band are like just crazy grateful and surprised and delighted that the songs from 2020 have done so well. So especially Honey. So it's like, it feels like we're really fortunate to have a fan base that like still cares and is still listening to the music. And so that gives you a little bit of a reassurance of like, okay, I think people are gonna like these songs and be invested in them still, you know?
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So is there any meaning behind the EP title or cover art?
Yes, there definitely is. The song Lost My Head, kind of the outro of that song ends, and it's like this reoccurring motive or motif of all of the things you said that just keeps getting repeated over and over again. That's kind of how the album ends, or EP, I suppose, ends in its entirety. But yeah, that whole song is kind of about a period in my life where I felt like Avery and I co-wrote that song and kind of finished it off together, and we were trying to get into the mindset of more or less that song's about the feeling of being gaslit, the feeling of a bunch of people or one person in particular, a group of people telling you that you are in the wrong, that you feel like your sense of reality is distorted, that you feel like your perception of the world is not correct, and you feeling like, I feel like I've got my head on my shoulders, you know, I feel like you you guys maybe are, or you are the one who is trying to deceive me or make me feel like I'm going crazy. And that repetition of all of the things you said is kind of just as the album ends, kind of just, I feel like in a sense me going through all those conversations over and over again, saying, was there a motive to all of the things you said? Trying to like sort of reconceptualize and change the frame of mind of what I was thinking at the time. So, and I feel like for me personally, like I said, this project is kind of a little bit darker, a little bit darker is probably too strong of a word, but it has weightier themes. And I think that for me, I kind of had to get some of those feelings and songs and ideas out before I could write more sort of really uplifting, happy stuff. And so hopefully that whole moment is even just sort of like a reframing all of those thoughts and concepts. And now that has sort of like, feel like that's out of my system, we're hopefully back to writing some more fun, upbeat, happy stuff alongside, I'm sure, stuff that'll have some weight to it.
Gotta have both. I think there's something like also in that, like the having a song that's very, very specifically about gaslighting and in a few things that we were like walking through for a few years, and always are. But like, I think there's a tendency with those situations to villainize someone or feel villainized by someone. So the choruses leading up to the final chorus are, I felt the pressure buried in things you said, and then the last is, was there a motive in all the things you said? So there's almost like I feel like there's also a reflection of like self-gaslighting. I'm not allowing myself to feel this way. Am I reading into this? Is it actually me? Is it you? Essentially. So I think as far as like the visuals go, when we were doing the promo videos for Cigarettes, Conversation, Lost My Head, and then the album cover, we did them all on the same day. It was chaos. It was so much fun. But I think so, like in that album cover, there's some little like Easter eggs from all of the promo shoots, but it just like feels discombobulating and a little abstract, which I feel like is like, it's like the end of a journey and the beginning of a journey in an image. Like this is all of these things that we've been building towards, but they're also just like this abstract kind of portrait of a person who's like themselves but so not themselves at the same time. But I don't know, there's go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that like what you're saying is spot on too. And I think we tried to reflect that. And then the Lost My Head cover, it's got our friend Josh, who's holding up a mirror to his face, and then a reflection, you see somebody else entirely. And I think that's kind of the thought for that song, especially, is kind of just this idea of like, you feel like you're one person, but you're being portrayed as somebody else entirely. And then same with the album cover in and of itself, like it's also Josh and his face is blurred out, but you can still kind of see his facial features. So it's kind of, I feel like, trying to portray just a sense of like losing yourself and not really being able to not being able to be sure of who you really are, but trying to find yourself through that process.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. I love it.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the EP?
Yeah, Avery and I are partners in crime for sure. I feel like for a while, I was writing a lot of stuff for Coastal Club, and that has shifted a lot. So like I said, we co-wrote Lost My Head. Gosh, what other songs? We co-wrote a few songs off of that, Avery. Like I feel like we finished a few other songs. Do you remember?
I mean, there's also a lot of the songs have existed in some form since like 2018. So
Yeah.
I think they did exist. Like Alex would typically bring us a pretty written song, and then we would kind of write parts for it and kind of like produce it sort of together, and then bring other people along for the ride. So I feel like almost all of them had some degree of rework, but I mean, like the outline was always kind of brought to us by Alex. I fully wrote one, and then I asked if we could cut it off the album, and we did.
Oh, wait, was it already like written and produced and done, and you just decided to cut it out?
Yeah.
Why?
It wasn't fully produced.
It wasn't fully produced. It was, we were going into the studio to like finish, like add some like ear candy and stuff. There will be some in the future. This wasn't the one.
Okay. Like it wasn't the song, or it wasn't the project for it, because it's two different things, right?
I think it was the song definitely felt like the bones were there, but it wasn't like we like had multiple discussions about like whether or not it would be like on the album, and I just kept going like, I don't think I wanted it to, as like if I'm like, I don't know, I just was like, I don't know, maybe next time we'll throw, so we have a couple that we'll work on hopefully for the next project. But
yeah,
definitely.
Fuck yeah.
I loved it personally for what it's worth. I thought it was a good song. I thought it could have lived with the other songs. Avery was against it, and I argued with him about it, but I'm willing to. He was the main writer on that, and so definitely, if he feels like it's not ready, then it's not ready for sure. But I think there is, yeah, as far as our process in general goes, like a lot of these songs have been written for a while. Some of them kind of new-ish, but there's I at least two songs. I think Lost My Head, I know we finished. Avery and I like straight up wrote that together. In Too Close, we kind of rewrote a lot of those parts together. Other songs,
Are You There? We like, kind of, I feel like, worked
Are You There?
On
you
a
definitely
lot of the chorus stuff together.
Yep. That was originally an idea that Avery had. So Avery and I have been co-writing a lot more. Originally, I think the last project I wrote pretty much all of those songs. But we would, like Avery said, we would produce and figure out like instrumentation and things like that together. But a lot of the songwriting I was doing. And now it's definitely Avery and I are tag teaming it, which has been really cool, and I love that.
Oh yeah,
hell yeah, wonderful. So what song off this EP took longest to write, and which one is each of your own personal favorite?
Ooh,
that's hard.
Longest to write is, well, it depends on amount of time passed versus amount of time spent on the song because Too Close, like I just mentioned, Avery and I finished writing that together. I think I wrote in its entirety a version of that song in like 2017 or 18.
Damn.
Long time ago. Like it had been, we didn't do it on our 2020 release. We passed on it. But then Avery and I rewrote it in like 2022 throughout the process of making this project. So that has probably been like, I mean, that's like 5 years or something that over the span of it, going from like idea to finished in terms of songwriting. But I'm trying to think of, in terms of time spent, I don't know, Avery, do you have
like, I feel like Be Like Me has evolved so much since it was first like
Yeah.
ideated, but
That's
I think that might be true of a lot of them. Like I genuinely like that's kind of the fun part of this record is like we've played these songs live for like a year or two before everything shut down, but they were different songs. Like they were a lot of the
yeah.
same elements but different songs. The worst part is that they also like we've been playing a couple of them under different names. So now that we have them like titled and on an EP, even when I was like doing the like design for the vinyl jacket for our vinyl release, I was like, "Are you there?" Because what was
Like,
are
what
you there
song is
before?
that?
We were calling it like Pick Me Up for the longest time.
Mhm.
And so I was like, what is Are You There? Like, but it's just because it was that long that we had them named one thing. There was, I think Too Close may have been one that had a different name. No, Too Close
No,
was called
we
Too Close, but the original song, like the way we were playing it,
totally different.
there was no reference to Too Close in it. Like it was written that way originally, then we changed lyrics, and then we changed lyrics back, and it became Too Close again, or something
Oh
along
my
those
God.
lines.
I think Too Close was like one of like the reason it was called Too Close was like it was one of the temp lyric. Like usually if I'm writing lyrics or a melody, I'll just kind of like ramble nonsense, either nonsensical words or syllables, just like non-words, to get vowel sounds kind of feeling good. And I think Too Close, I said that while I was like originally temp writing the original lyrics. And so, but then I wrote the real lyrics and Too Close wasn't in that at all. And so, but we just kept calling it Too Close. And then we eventually rewrote the lyrics again and then Too Close had a little bit of a meaning to it. So yeah.
Gotcha.
I think my favorite song, oh gosh, that is hard to choose. Might be Existential. That is definitely one of my favorites. It's a pandemic song. It is like I think I wrote that one um in the heat of 2020. And so it's been a minute and most people have released their pandemic songs by now, but I have an affinity to that one and I just love the way that it feels and it makes me feel. So I think that would be my favorite. What about you, Avery?
Hmm. I feel like the one that I like think of most when I think of this record is Be Like Me. Like
Hmm.
it's usually the first one that I want to like crank the I like want to crank the volume up on. I mean I love all of them, but I like it's just as far as like if I'm jamming out to this record, I think Be Like Me is the first one I turn on. Are You There might be up there.
Yep.
Just such a vibe. I don't know. It's so weird. I'm sure it'll be different tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
that's
pick that favorite
right
child.
now. Where yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's great.
So for this question, I want you guys to pick your favorite lyric off the EP and tell us the meaning behind it.
I mean, there's stuff in Cigarettes that I just think is so freaking cool and clever. What about? I mean, I love the while we still have our shadows, let's try and outrun the sun. I love that line so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's a fun one.
That whole
That's when you
bridge,
get
honestly.
tattooed, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Shit.
Speaking of songs you want to roll down your windows too, but I feel like a lot of that bridge is just like, and I had nothing to do with that. That's all Alex and our friend Gable. But like, I listened to those lyrics and I was just like, man, those are all bangers, every single line.
Oh yeah.
I think you know what I think one of my favorites is from Existential. I'm trying to remember. It's and I know that there's good in between in the black and the white. The devil creeps in through the seams. Just the idea of like nothing in life is as certain as everyone and everything makes it out to be, and actually you should make it a common practice of figuring out how to live in the in between and figuring out how to live in the gray, not the black and white. I think I really, really like that one a lot. It's up there. Also, a lot of the ones in Lost My Head, like the Was There a Motive to All the Things You Said, definitely for me, because of what I talked about earlier with reconceptualizing that whole experience is one of my favorite lyrics for sure. So,
oh yeah, solid picks.
Yeah. So you guys went into it a little bit earlier, but if you want, you go a bit more in depth. Are you able to tell us where your headspace is at while creating this EP?
yeah. Well, all over the place because the songs were written over a long period of time.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the lyrics and concepts, like some of the heavier themes, kind of start to dive into mental health at various points, and like I said, like that feeling of being gaslit. So it's kind of like trying to work through those thoughts and those feelings and emotions play a huge role. I think Avery and I and a lot of people that we encounter kind of like have some pretty heavy religious backgrounds, and so this whole EP is kind of working through a lot of those thoughts and ideologies that we are taught from a super young age, and are taught to believe is truth, and trying to sort of dissect some of them, rethink some of them, trying to not really necessarily leave a period at the end of this sentence, but maybe a comma or a question mark. I don't think we're trying to like make any big like statements about religion, or saying screw you or screw religion, or the opposite, you're amazing, religion's amazing. Like, I don't think we're trying to say either of those things, just kind of trying to say like, hey, this is a lot of our experience, and this is how we feel. So I think that has a lot to do with it, but then also like there's a lot of just like love songs like Cigarettes that are peppered throughout that just kind of are intended to make you feel good. And so there's a little bit of a story arc for sure, but there's also just some songs that we wrote a while ago that were just like, these are great songs, we love these songs, they need to be out in the world,
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this EP for the first time? Should do in the car with friends and dark with headphones on? Is Rocket EP, Party EP? What do you guys personally recommend?
Ooh. That's a good question.
That is a great question. I mean, well, I don't want to say wait and get the vinyl, but get the vinyl and do that, because that would be great.
Where can they buy the vinyl?
Can they?
Yeah, they can't yet. In like a week and a half, we'll have our vinyl release show in Cincinnati, and so it'll be available first there to people at that show. Afterwards, it will become available online via our website and Soul Step Records, who's putting out the vinyl. They'll have it on their website as well, and we'll throw links everywhere as soon as it's released. So if anyone follows us on social media, they'll get the links for sure.
Oh yeah, good plug. Now, where are we listening to the album? Where do you guys recommend, or is it just vinyl?
No, that's just format. But don't wait, do it now. I don't know. Light some incense, turn the lights down, just let it ride.
I'd say this one might be, normally I would say our songs are definitely Roll the Windows Down. Like, we picture writing a lot of our songs to people, and we've gotten feedback that a lot of people like listening to our songs, with the windows down, sometimes rolling down the PCT, that's PCT, the Pacific Coast Highway, PCH, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Yeah. But yeah, rolling the windows down. I think this one, though, this project, Cigarettes is definitely there, Conversation might be there, but I think overall this project might be more of a throw your headphones on, listen, alone in your room, and just kind of let a lot of the lyrics, a lot of the sonic textures fall onto you and over you, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Love it. All right. So this one should be super, super quick off the top of your heads. I want you guys to describe this EP for new listeners in 3 words. 3 words each, 6 total, no more, no less.
I would say weighty. I've already said that.
Okay.
Avery, you go now, and then I'll do the next. Introspective. That's definitely. I would say dreamy.
Okay.
I was gonna say vibey, but I feel like dreamy and vibey are the same.
Yeah.
That really threw me off that you got one that was similar to what I was gonna say.
I'm already locking mine, and for the next one that I get.
Cascading.
So cascading. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, let it wash over you in waves.
I like that. I would say this is going to be hyphenated.
Okay.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Surprisingly positive, and there's a hyphen in there, so it's one word.
Okay. Count it.
Or deceivingly positive, either one of those.
Oh, okay.
If you have anything that's better than me digging in the depths.
Let me think.
Phone a friend.
Yeah, we'll call David. Get David in here.
I would say energetic. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Energetic.
Punchy, energetic.
There you go.
Yeah. Love it.
Oh yeah. And in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the EP?
I think again, sort of introspective, just a sense of being introspective. I think it asks some questions, like I said earlier, like it doesn't necessarily have a period, but just kind of like some of the lyrics ask some questions, and hopefully people will take a second to think through them. I think also carefree. There's a couple songs that I feel like I want people to feel a sense of carefree, like youthfulness and innocence again, I would say.
Like
yeah,
that,
I
right?
think on that same topic, like meditative in terms of like along with those things, like in meditation, trying to let go of yourself and let things come and then move through and then past you. Just like even some of the love songs, like Too Close, there's like these are love songs with like a little asterisk of like, and I'm still having like a struggle within this. So like there's I think that character to a lot of the songs. But yeah, just allowing all of those kind of moods and emotions and feelings to kind of flow in and out, and hopefully there's something to latch onto in each of them. But yeah, just kind of meditative.
I love it.
Oh,
Hell
yeah.
yeah. Wonderful. And are you guys able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of this EP, positive or negative?
Yeah, there's definitely plenty. I think there's plenty of both. I mean, one of the challenging ones was, like we said earlier, we were kind of like in the middle of a break. Like we started this in 20, it wasn't long after we released our last project. I think it was 2021 that we started making this, and it took us more or less 2 to 3 years to make it, and then we've been trying to market it since it was completed. But just like that sort of throughout that, we kind of took a brief hiatus as a band unintentionally, just like life happened. And so trying to get us all on the same page and refocused on putting this project out was definitely a big challenge. I'm trying to think. We also had plenty of, like, we had so many friends work on it along the way, people that we've met throughout our journey as a band, and friends that we've had, producers, friends that we've had as well. So just getting to work with them was an absolute highlight and delight. Yeah, I'm trying to think, Avery, is there anything else I'm
I
missing?
mean, I think just for me, like a big like standout positive is the fact that like through all of that, people still paid attention and cared that we were doing stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was like I think a huge incentive for us when we had kind of the hard conversation of like, are we going to do this again? Or like, was that it? I think a lot of like, it was kind of a no brainer for the three of us to just be like, yeah, we have like, people are still paying attention. That's crazy. They didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And so there was like just that thing that was kind of driving us forward the whole time of just like, okay, if like we want to do it and people want to hear it, so why would we ever not do it? So
Yeah.
Damn
it's
right.
huge encouragement.
Yeah, I think that it would have been a different scenario if like we released music in 2020 and it like did about the same as music that we had released in the past. Not that those songs weren't good either, but like I think if it hadn't garnered like the sense of attention that it had gotten, I think we would be having a different conversation about what it looks like to be a band right now. Like because we had that break, I think it'd be a lot more like there'd be a lot more pressure. I think we were all just kind of like, why the heck are we not doing something? Because like people are listening to our music and loving it, and like in a lot of respects, all of us, we all have things that we're doing. We all have like I'm trying to mix, engineer, produce other things as well for other folks, and it's like why am I not giving Coastal Club as much attention when it's one of the most successful things I've touched? So like we should be investing in that more because people like I think really dig the music, you know. So I don't know why I'm letting it become, go on the back burner. We should be focusing on it more. So yeah, I think that it was really encouraging to have that break and to have people be dedicated enough to keep listening.
Absolutely, that's awesome. Hell yeah. So for this question, I want you guys to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Mhm.
I might get so much judgment for this. It's
I
always
don't know.
it's always dill pickle flavored sunflower seeds.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I get a
yeah,
lot
fuck
of
yeah.
hate for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
why? What the
It's
fuck?
just an when you walk out with a green bag of anything from a gas station, I feel like it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, from that perspective, I get it. But I mean, they're fucking incredible. So
I know.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's great. Hmm.
Also, I hate on people who do roller dogs. No, I mean, like, live your life, but I can't do it. And I know
Yeah,
we have a
fuck
lot of
no.
friends that do roller dogs, and it's
We
just
have
like
one very close friend that does roller dogs.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel very attacked by this.
yeah, if he listens to this, he will not like what I'm saying. But no, total shade is deserved to anybody that is all about roller dogs from
Oh, yes.
Speedway or whatever.
Yes.
I would
You
say
can't yuck that yum.
mine's blue raspberry Sour Patch Kids.
Ooh.
I'm really obsessed with them, but if I'm trying to watch my figure, trail mix, just straight up trail mix.
Damn
That's
right.
the way
I
to
love
go.
trail mix.
Yep.
Mhm. Hell yeah. And on the
It's not
topic
as
of
intriguing as dill flavored sunflower seeds, but
maybe you got to get on the dill flavored sunflower seed train then.
yeah, I've tried them. They're okay. They're all right. They're
All I
fine.
can ask for.
That's
all I can ask for.
ridiculous,
Nah,
man.
they're
What
good.
the fuck? All right. And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Ooh, wow, what
Shrimp.
a question.
Thank you.
Just off the dome, I had shrimp scampi. I don't know why, but literally the second you asked that question, I was like, shrimp scampi.
Shrimp scampi.
No
All right,
doubt.
It's
let's
obvious.
unpack it.
There's
Uh,
one obvious answer.
Let's unpack it.
Hmm.
It's got wet noodles,
Well-
which I think we are.
Your wet noodles, okay.
And
Strong
it's got,
start.
got shrimp, which is
Mhm.
associated with the ocean,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
you can get it anywhere in the country, which is also our music.
Okay.
It's objectively associated with the ocean because it's called coastal, but we're from
Yeah.
Cincinnati, so
Yeah.
Shout out to our distributor who distributes our music worldwide.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Coastal
there you
Club
go.
is the shrimp scampi of bands.
All
All
right,
right.
we'll take it.
Let's lock it
Yeah.
in. Fuck
do
yeah.
do yours. Yours is gonna be way better.
Mine?
Yeah, you gotta do. Save
Mine's
me.
so boring compared to that. I was gonna say fish tacos because
Oh.
fish tacos are like one of my absolute favorite foods ever. And, same reasoning, like just a fried like mahi taco or tilapia taco
Mm.
is like it's coastal, it's light, it's great, it's breezy, just like our music, sounds great.
I'm seeing a seafood theme here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah. And for the last couple of questions, going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh boy. I know what mine is.
You should know.
Skyline Chili, Cincinnati, Ohio, baby. It's I think I would want just some good old fashioned Skyline Chili. I grew up on it. Just like reminds me of home, super comforting. So that's where I'd go.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Avery, did I steal yours?
No, well, I mean that's obviously up there, but what's your drink?
Yeah.
Oh, my drink.
Mhm.
I would, I mean, I think it's probably going to be alcoholic. I'm on death row, so
Why the hell
why
not?
does it matter? Yeah, why
Mhm.
the hell not? I think I would probably do a mezcal Negroni. It's probably like my favorite cocktail, so I think that's where I'd go. Yeah.
Solid.
I'm on a big Szechuan chicken kick,
Ooh.
so it'd be something with Szechuan chicken and mango habanero kombucha from Fab Ferments in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Ooh.
Shameless plug.
Shit. I fucking love kombucha. That sounds incredible.
Yeah. Got to go out with a healthy gut biome, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
When it
Except for
really
me,
matters.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Shit. And if you could
Wow.
live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
One fictional world.
Mm-hmm.
The Shire?
I mean, childhood me is saying
Ooh.
Lord of the Rings, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I would go to Lord of the Rings conventions. Like, that's the kind of kid I was. So, but modern day Alex, what the heck? I'm still going to go Lord of the Rings. Why not? Lord of the
Fuck
Rings
yeah.
is Yeah, classic, just the
Of
best.
course. Yeah. So you're both chilling in the Shire together?
Yeah.
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 I
Are you
already
going
look like
Northerns too, Avery?
Yeah, I said the Shire. I feel like I already have the look. I know I just gotta go.
Yeah. Exactly. Hell yeah. You just need like the armor and shit. You're done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We can make that a reality. I mean, New Zealand's a real place, Avery. We can go
And they have the
tomorrow.
Hobbit holes. You can go see them.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
go. You gotta stay in one too. They're like Airbnbs and shit.
Oh my gosh.
No way, for
Mhm.
real?
New
Dead
Zealand
ass,
tour.
yeah.
Whoa,
Go for
that's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, I
Wow.
need to see that happen.
Gonna make it happen.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And I've done of asking the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Oh, I'll go. I have to go with Coastal Club Green, which is
Ooh.
I'm coining it Coastal Club Green, but it's like a olive maybe a little bit darker than olive, like sort of a dark green, hunter green. Yeah.
You want me to get the hex colors for it? The hex numbers for it?
It's been so long since
Last
someone's
time
brought out
someone
a
did
hex
that,
code.
it was the
Yeah.
Pornhub yellow or orange. So
Oh
Yeah.
my
Oh,
it's been a
god.
while.
Yeah, it's number sign 59663D. So that's the
There
Coastal
you
Club
go.
Green.
Hmm.
For me, it's probably gonna be red, but
It's just red.
Well, I mean, like, I want color combinations more than colors. I'm like a big orange and black guy, but that's because the Bengals. I also
That's
just
fair.
like red. I love red in like movies. Like
Mm.
that's what's on my
Striking.
mind right now is like, yeah, lots of like primary color movie palettes.
It
but
should
probably
also
red.
be noted, Avery is an incredible videographer, designer, illustrator, pretty much everything visual. So like he knows colors. He knows colors
know
very
red.
well. Yeah. So it's just uncharacteristic to hear him say red.
Aw. Yeah, that's fucking
yeah.
awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
So as I said, that's all the questions I have today. Is there anything that you guys like to plug?
Yeah, I mean, you should listen to all the things you said, like we've been talking about. We just released it 4 days ago, as of right now, and we're really proud of it. I think that this is one of the most like proud I've ever been of just releasing music. I know that it will probably be digested and perceived, maybe not perceived, but just listened to differently than some of our older stuff. But I'm super excited that it's out in the world and people can listen to it and enjoy it now. Also, we're about to head. We've got our album release. If you're in the Cincinnati area, you should definitely. We've got so much going on. We got our album release, vinyl release, August 2nd at the Woodward Theater, and that's going to be a great time. And then we're going on a short tour in September/October on a couple runs. We just announced it like 30 minutes ago, right before we hopped on this call, going on a short run with our friends, Gable Price and Friends. And so that'll be really fun. We'll be doing like I think 10 shows with them and then hitting some headline stuff as well. So just check our, all of our socials for ticket links and things like that. But yeah, a lot going on.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. This guy's been Avery and Alex from Coastal Club, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.